The Washington Building Congress is pleased to present the Craftsman Hall of Fame. This honor is in recognition of enduring commitment, exceptional skill, quality craftsmanship, and extraordinary dedication.
I'm David Thomas, and I'm an electrician for Down Electric Company.
My name is Robert Gottlieb. I started in the trades in 1948.
My name is John Vendemia. I grew up in Capitol Heights. The day I graduated, my father asked me, what am I going to do? And I said, I didn't know. He said, well, come on and go with me. That meant I'm going to be an iron worker. My father got me a job in a shop. That's where I really learned my trade. And then eventually I went into Local 5. Because through the years I did a lot of different type of ironwork. Welding, structural, towers, material towers. Then eventually I got into what we call the ornamental part of the ironwork. And back in them days, everybody wasn't a welder. And me being young, they didn't believe I was a welder either unless I showed them. So once I showed them I was a welder, then that maintained my job through the years.
So I started in the trade right out of high school, completed my apprenticeship, and then started my career with Down Electric. And I've been with Down Electric for 30 years. I was able to learn a lot through the VOTEC program and also through the apprenticeship of Local 26. My father had taught me to do the job right and took pride in his work. I took pride in my work and tried to do the best job I could. I have two sons that are interested in a career in the electrical trade that are starting out, and so hopefully they'll be able to follow in my footsteps.
I learned my trade at Lank Woodwork. I worked outside construction for a number of years. I worked at Washington Woodwork. I was very fortunate in my career to work with a number of people who were willing to share their knowledge. Always had an appetite for learning that my father instilled in me. I knew I would have to work the rest of my life to survive. So he told me, be sure you pick something you enjoy, and I did. Technology has changed so very much. Working in the shop when I started out, there were no Phillips screws, there were no battery-powered tools, no white glue, no contact bond, everything was done on either very heavy floor-mounted machinery or fitted by hand.
The main tools was a hacksaw and a file. You couldn't use a power tool on a mirror finish, or you'd scratch it all up. And you couldn't be precise on making that cut with a power tool.
When I first started, I worked with some excellent journeymen that had taught me a lot. Nowadays we're trying to pass that on to the next generations. That one-on-one teaching is very, very important. And I think that a lot of guys don't take the time because they feel the pressure of the jobs. But I think it's important that you're teaching this person how something that will pay back in the future.
And working for one company, had them tell me, you spend too much time teaching apprentices. We'd rather have you working. So I just politely informed them that's what I do. If you think I'm not doing enough, you just compare my hours with what's accomplished with everybody else and see who's on top. Worked out pretty good.
The shop made it, but then it was up to me to put it together. It don't always go together the way they figure. And some of it was mirror finish bronze, and you had to hacksaw it, put a little scratch line on there and cut it right up to that scratch line. And then you take a file and you file it. We only had a tolerance of a 32nd of an inch. And you have them architects that you can never satisfy them. In one job, the architect said the crack was too big. Well, that mirror finish made it look like it was a 1/16 of an inch wide. I took a dollar bill out of my pocket and tried to slide it in the crack, and it wouldn't go in there. And I said, now, is that close enough for you? He said, yeah, that'll be fine.
Some of the qualities that I've I had that helped me to do my job well is staying focused on the task at hand and not getting overwhelmed by the size or how complicated things can be.
I also was able to put up a little 5-story building under James Davis. We all agreed while we started that job that we would try to build a job without a punch list. And when we got to the top floor, Davis and the bank representative and the architect and the people got through, they looked at each other and said, you know, we can't believe this. There wasn't even a paint chip to be touched up. Everything was done. I think all I got out of it is a letter.
These jobs are one-of-a-kind job. You never see another one like it. I did the FBI building. I was there for 3.5 years. But I did all the ironwork in there. The railings, the gratings, the beams. In 3.5 years, I didn't have one thing on a punch list. And them government inspectors said they followed me on every job I did in the building. They said they couldn't find nothing wrong. And they said, well, that was a credit to me and my trade.
The first Craftsmanship Award I received was really a surprise. I guess I just thought I was doing my job the way I should be doing it, but it was nice that it was being recognized, and I really felt honored. And everyone since then, I feel honored and be inducted into the Hall of Fame. That's something that I would never have thought would have had to happen in my career.
Riding around town, oh, I worked on that, I worked on that, I worked on that. They get tired of hearing me that I worked on so many things.
I think it's a tribute to the men I learned my trade from, the companies that I worked for, and also an encouragement to some of the young apprentices that worked with me.
I think it's important to do the job to the best of your ability and really take pride in your work, and then so when you're finished you can look back and have that sense of pride.
It is with great pride that we present to you the Craftsman Hall of Fame Class of 2012. Robert C. Gottlieb, David W. Thomas, and John D. Vendemia.